on there how, he was like, you see a stock that you like, you see a company that you like, it matches up, and one of the things we teach in one of our courses, and Mo really dives into the can slim, but just your strategy, your investment edge, you go with that, and then you press it. But it's not like a short term mindset, and so that I believe that along with trading over a short term in the right under the right circumstances, we can push it and take and being able to capitalize or recognize like once in a decade opportunity like the one I have on the screen right here. I really feel, well, am I not sharing it? I bet I'm not sharing Tesla. Yeah, y'all stay on me in that chat bar too. If I'm talking about something that's not in there, because I get on a roll and forget, and I'm not sharing it. But I have some notes down for everybody, for all of us. So it's 6:03. We'll start at 6:05. Welcome, everybody. This is JD, the Mobile Trader. This is a Mobile Trader Network, and we are here for the Mastermind meeting. We meet every Sunday. Normally it's 7:30 Central after my bro Mo Jackson's his group meeting. But this was Mo's son had his ninth birthday. Shouts out to Noah, and I moved it up today, so we're gonna rock with it today. And on the screen right now, uh, we have Investors Business Daily up here. So, hey, Ruby, Kim, Ulysses, Marcia, Jamelin, everybody. If you're watching on Facebook, guys, I won't be able to see any of your comments or questions. I'm going to stick right with the Zoom. I put the Zoom link up there. It said, come into the Zoom. So if you're scared of Zoom, stay in Facebook and maybe somebody will relay it. But you can still hear, guys. But okay, on the screen today, right now, Investors Business Daily. I subscribe to this. You won't always see the information on there on the free chart, but this is one of the things I look at. Stocks on the move, up in price, and you can write the tickers down if you can. If I go by it, it's gone. But point I'm making, these stocks are on the move. They're basically stocks with which are being bought heavily by institutional investors. When we see institutional money coming in, that means we're in the right place. Doesn't mean to go out and buy it right now. It has to fit within your criteria, whether it's an investment strategy for a long-term play, short-term, whatever you want to do. Uh, we just have to establish our time horizon. But of course, the ones that I'm watching Tesla. Of course, Crowd, Take Two, they're good ones. But we're gonna go down the list at some point. I just wanted to show that because Investor Business Daily has a lot of these lists that we can sift from because new investors a lot of times or traders struggle to find stocks to trade or invest or to latch on to. And then this is one way. There are several other ways, but you're going to get a rhythm, find your own rhythm, and find stocks that you're comfortable with. So, our idea, guys, I want you all to just visualize yourself as every move we're making right now is to basically hand feed the person we want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, a year from now, to where we're going to say, thank you for doing this. Thank you for putting the time in, studying, sacrificing, going the extra mile, uh, dealing with ridicule or doubt, and pushing forward. So we can do it, guys. Another thing in the market, one thing that's hard for us to understand, and how many of you guys do this is when, if you've ever done it where you get into a trade and you're like, man, should I sell? But you can't remember where you found out about the trade, and the person who told you about it, you think that they don't give the follow up. Sometimes they do, but you're like, should I sell? And you put the post up, hey, should I sell? Should I get out of this stock? I'm down by this or I'm up by this. That's a tough question because no one knows our personal situation, our financial situation, our goals upon entry, our goals upon during the process. So Don't put that question out into the ozone. Have that question answered before we enter. Okay? We can't ask that question. That what should I do? That what should I do would be like, nah, let's just you don't ask that. You tell me what you want to do, because if you're asking that question, that means you kind of think you should get out. And we need to go with our gut. I appreciate that, Richard. I hope that Etsy play worked out, man. Um, this next one, we can't blame anyone but ourselves for moves in the market. The market is going to do what it does. We have to just set parameters for possible. It's the probabilities come into play on both sides, and set it, forget it, expect to lose it, and then when it hits, boom, take profit. I mean, everybody has their own psychological uh, games we play to get ourselves in position, because the market can ebb and flow, and we see how news will come up, and it can spike. The news can spike, or make it rip, or make it dip, regarding what's going on or how people respond to it. Like right now with the stimulus, so we had the vaccine rolling out, had a stimulus agreement in play, but here's the linchpin. It's everybody's gonna be dovish or excited about the stimulus agreement, but I saw the final statement was the vote comes Monday. So why not vote now? We got the agreement done. All those old dudes are in the place, uh, smelling like mentholatum and ointment. Yeah, I'm joking, but that yeah. Anyway, make the vote, because that's the other part of it that could always, like, we get positive, positive, positive. There's a setback, and people panic, and then it just moves the price to a good position where somebody can get back in and run in. So just don't. We're not going to overdo the excitement. We have to stay that even keel, and we'll be fluid with our reactions. So, um, yeah, but the agreement is in place. Let me put it on this. Let me see right here if I can put the ES up. See if there's any news on that wire right there. Dow futures see muted gains. Sunday night as Congress strikes last ditch $900 billion coronavirus aid package. Futures attempted to edge higher, but we're seeing relatively tepid gains Sunday night, guys. This even as Congress reached a deal on a $900 billion coronavirus relief package. Futures for the Dow Jones average rose 93 points, or 0.3% at 30K, 30.2, 30,210. Okay, S&P were flat. Now we're gonna watch the S&P tomorrow, because Tesla just bumped into the S&P. For every $11.11 move that Tesla goes, the S&P 500 will now move $1. This is all approximates, but that's what the expectation is. We'll talk about that a little more. But so the reason I was saying is, like, anytime we expect something to roll or go down, we need to temper our enthusiasm to let's see what let that other shoe drop. I'm another shoe dude. That other shoe. You drop the other shoe before I get excited and start cheering and say, "Oh Lord, thank you, please, thank you." It's a robust story attached to everything, in my opinion. So, with that being said, what we want to do, guys, how many of us feel that we could do a better job at controlling our emotions when we're in a trade? Because right when we click buy or whatever, it will the first time we click it with real money, it will reveal our true selves. Like, you'd be like, "Oh man, you got to be kidding me, man! What is this doing? Come on, please, what's up?" What it just happens. It happens, and I'm with you, Brooke, Kylan, uh, everybody, because it brings our emotions to the it brings it out, man. It's gonna, they say, you when you fast, or I mean, I'm this hey, this is it is what it is. I followed Dr. Sabi for a long time, for many years, and alkaline, and um I've been vegan for several years, doing all that, and so I had to learn to deal with, like, what, you don't eat this, you don't eat that, and I just say I just eat what I eat. I don't try to throw it in people's face. But when you fast, it brings a lot of things in your body that may be dormant. It brings it to the surface. Like whether it's pimples. Sometimes people are fast and you get like teenage acne. And you know, when you get that, yeah, on Ty's Conscious Kitchen, yeah, okay, okay. I put a lot of meals on there. And the thing is, it, it brings out all the superfluities and our vices, within our bodies, and then we learn how to just flush it out. That's the same with trading and investing. When we put that money on the line, we can paper trade and virtual trade all we want. Hit that click button, like, oh Lord, please, 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 please. Okay, let me just hit this one. Let me hit it right. And it sounds like we're gambling. But if we do it right, properly, when we do it, I mean, it's not going to be just like where we're have no emotions. But the idea is you have a rules based strategy in place. Whatever your edge is, whether it is I'm technical analysis, I'm I'm support and resistance. I'm a chartist. I read the charts, but I also look at news headlines. So I'm a hybrid guy. I check the news headlines, and then I go through part of the the can slim method, which is just really just a checklist of a few things a few. You guys can look that up. It's the acronym CANSLIM. It's on the website. Let me Google that for you on your own. Okay, I'm just joking. Tell me if that joke hit a little bit. Okay. Anyway, we get that. We get when we have a rules based strategy in place. A lot of times we think, oh, that's it. That's all I need to make that million. That's man. It tells red light, green light, go buy it, buy, sell. But they don't tell you. Well, they do. They mention it, but we gloss over it. That our emotional strength or our emotional stability is going to be a key component of this entire program because the only person that will sabotage your program will be the trader themselves. It's us. It's our hangups, our concerns, our worries, our frustrations, our account size, our rushing in, our or when we hit it, we're gonna hit it. So right now we're prepping mentally, emotionally, financially for the opportunity. When it comes, we'll capitalize, we'll spot it, and we'll put it in. And people say, "Oh, you getting in that? You get it? Kiss my ass. I'm in it. I'm sorry for cussing. Kiss it, kiss it. I'm in it. Don't even check me. You check your account, I check mine. Let's keep moving." Because that's what Facebook does, man. Facebook, I told you should have gotten in it. You didn't tell me nothing. Did you put your money in there? Well, show the receipts and then put it back on there with everybody when everybody says, okay, wow, great job. I told you should have been in there. If you had gotten in when it was 48 cents, it's now six. Did you get in? No, I didn't get in, but well, shut it up. Shut it up. And let's move forward. We got time. There's gonna be another bus coming by because everybody cannot take every trade. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe it's a little bit too much for me. Maybe I'm a little scared, or maybe I rush in a little too quick sometimes. I'm an impulsive trader. I'll hop in that thing, man. I like, let's go. What are we waiting on? That kind of thing. That's how I work. And when I get in it, it needs to move. And that's why when I was with my mentor, he gave me my parameters. And parameters differ for everyone. But one of the things that you guys always see me go to this page right here. This let's make sure I'm sharing the right page again. Okay, it's called ATR. And how many of y'all have heard me talk about the average true range ATR? I know a lot of y'all have because we have to know what how far a stock moves in a day within its range. If you're gonna trade options, like okay, look at the bottom down. Let's flip it down. Let's flip it. Let's just say, for instance, you want to get in Genius. Genius was Black Hollywood for a second, man. Everybody was in Genius. I'm taking a center bar off tonight. Black folks were in Genius, like black folks hopped in Church's Chicken in the '80s and then Popeyes in the 90s, and and then back in early 2000 when the chicken sandwich came out, we acted a damn fool. We put money, so we don't need to spend all the money on a penny stock that has no basis. Now you can take a gamble. There's times to gamble, guys. You put, but you don't put the baby's diaper money in there. You have to know it. Look, the chart's gonna tell you, get your ass out of Genius before they pull the rug. It's gonna happen like that, and you can see it. So I just had to say that, man. They know I've been getting on Genius, and Genius, it is what it is. Everybody was trying to give the breakdown of like, hey, they were gonna give their fall lineup of what they're gonna put. Who gives a damn what Genius has on their fall lineup? Is that gonna be the catalyst to move my that money that I'm trying to get to go to the next level? It might be a little hit that we can get it and get in and get out. I call it the Bobby Brown trade. You get in, get out before the parents get home. And she's gonna call you back because I mean you're the bad boy. But if you stay at the house, that's trouble. So anyway, next move. We don't want to get in those little penny stocks. But look how slow these are movers. When you think something's gonna move, 11 cents for Nokia. Now Nokia is a little different. Okay, Nokia has a catalyst, a pending catalyst, and anybody know what that is? I think some of y'all do. 5G. Yeah, I know the conspiracy. 5G triggers, COVID triggers within 5G. The nanocells come in, but I'm gonna make some money while I'm getting sick. If y'all want to put it like that, you figured out the 5G is triggered. They put the chemtrails and all that. Well, okay, well shoot, how much? Let me get paid off that too. Let's figure out the routes. Let's figure out the whole give me the whole package. But Nokia has a plan. And if you look at one of the things right here, Nokia has like they trade like 20 million. I mean Dragonfly does as well, but it's in Genius. Now, okay, to give Genius some credit, when I looked at the institutional participation, there were a lot of institutional investors that had moved into Genius in the beginning. And for some reason, I think they may have sold early and some volumes coming back in. It's kind of creeping back. So I'm talking all that noise. Do keep your eye on Genius, from the standpoint of like it already ran up really high and it pulled back and sold off and it 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 kind of flushed out a lot of people. But you check volume too, guys. So you keep an eye on volume. But let's keep going down the list. Ford, it moves 24 cents a day. Okay, if you get into Ford, and a lot of people will buy out of the money calls on Ford, but they don't give themselves enough time. So you get an out of the money call on a stock that has an ATR of 24 cents. You're gonna need several months. That's just a little trick or a strategy if you fall into options, and even in the stock, because if it goes, let's say you hop in and it goes down against you a little bit and you're down, it's just Murphy's law of like when you sell, right? When you sell, a week later, it's gonna start its run because there's something called it's that fear and greed index. It's the Wyckoff. It's there's like a meter where the average person has a level of fear that hits us and that we can only take so much. We're like, I'm getting the hell out of this, man. And that's a level we can find it on the chart, on every chart. And you can see the consensus. Start showing the charts in a second. But pay attention to the ATR, guys, if you're trying to hop into a trade. So now, okay, here's another thing. Um, let's put Bitcoin on the screen on the big board. I'm a fan of Bitcoin. I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. Been a huge fan. Now, one of the things that you watch out for is when Bitcoin does what it's doing right here. On the screen right now, this is consolidation. Let me just draw this up, man. Y'all are here for the show. If you break out, you break out, and you miss it. But brother's not doing this for clout because I do not like a crowd. That's the trading range. This is a parabolic explosion. Now it's consolidating again within the trading range, and there's a chance for another parabolic explosion, but I think 2410, 180 is going to be an area where it pulls back. I don't know how far it's going to pull back, but there'll be time for another entry. But when you get Bitcoin ranging and blasting off like this, you will get scam artists coming into play. So do not open emails that say, hey, send me your Bitcoin for a return and guaranteed return of XYZ. Nobody can guarantee you. The only thing they can guarantee you is that taxes are coming. Um, you will get ashy outside of the pool if you don't put lotion on and you're in the South. It's just part of it. It just comes with the territory. That's how we are. If you have melanin as deep as I do, I have freckles, man, and I get ashy. So anything can happen. But the point is, guys, look, scam artists come. They're here now when you run like that, and they're gonna tell you, hey, I can flip your Bitcoin if you put it. You give me send me 150, 250 in Bitcoin. I have a mining operation. You get a return. It's not gonna work. you can't you can't get a return off of a mining operation, even cloud mining, that's worth anything for two. I mean, you're gonna get pennies on the dollar off of $250. So I mean, I had miners. I still have one left, but I turned it off. But if you run what you look for, if there's somebody comes at you with a mining scam, you ask them how many TH slash S, terahertz per cycles per second, or terahertz per second. You want to know how many they're running at their facility. That lets you know how much runoff, how much of the reward, how much of the block reward that you can expect off of that at that facility, because you're going to have the difficulty level that you have to combat by there's a Shade 256 algorithm that's done, and they compute it every time, and every like 10 minutes or so, that block reward pops, and it runs off, and the big mining conglomerates pay out. The small ones like I had, you can jump into a pool and you get your payout as well. And then I had people buy into my mining setup, but that it just it can get diluted. And that's where nobody can just get you $150 and you try to get an 800% return. You can save the world with that. You keep compounding that. If people just do the simple math. So what we're doing here, I'm letting you know, be careful. They're coming right now when it's at these levels right there. I just wanted to say that. Now, cloud mining, that's a possibility. They sell contracts. Companies like Hashflare, HASHFLARE, and Genesis Mining were the two that I liked. I liked Hashflare the best. They sold the Bitcoin contracts, but be careful because sometimes you buy a contract and it says it's a Bitcoin mining contract, but the small print will say they'll mine a small altcoin and then they'll swap it to get the Bitcoin. You can do that on your own because there's also exchange rates that you have to pay. Just like the Forex market, you need to know what the exchange rate is to see if it's favorable. It's a lot of research, in my opinion, to protect yourself when you start going to the others, like to the creation side of crypto, of like, I wanted to, my son got me on it, but by creating the coin ourselves, I don't have to buy that, but I had to combat my electricity costs. I had to combat, just a couple of other things, but I love doing it every minute of it. I had it in Texas, there was a lot of heat. Uh, there's a lot of runoff with those. You mine with ASIC miners, ASIC. It's like almost a mini industrial computer that it kind of fits in your hand about like that. And it, I put a video, I think, in Inspired Trading. But I just want to give you all that. Be careful. But if somebody says they're mining with a graphics card, they're not mining Bitcoin. They're mining either Ethereum or an altcoin, and they'll flip it into Bitcoin. If you mine Bitcoin directly off the block, you have to. It's almost an industrial machine. And my daughter said it sounds like a little plane taking off. So So those are little tidbits, but I just wanted to tell you that. Just be cautious, but don't everything isn't a scam, but you can vet it. If people are going to tell you to get into that thing, have them ask them to show you a video of the place. Ah, Hashflare canceled the contracts. Yeah, dude. Hey, Richard, I was in there. They canceled all those contracts. Uh, Litecoin, that's going to be the sneaky one, because you can use the same ASICs miners to mine it. It's a little bit less electrical carbon footprint involved. That might be the backside entry, man. So up north in Ashy, hey, up north, one thing can go down is that people who are in the cold weather areas, they don't have to worry about keeping their miners cool. They can just let the air run in off of it. That was one of the things that was a good thing in the wintertime that like people in Chicago, uh, shoot, Iceland, Finland, everything they were doing that, doing a lot of that. So okay, now let's get to the charts, man. Let's talk about a few things now, guys. I've been making this call for a few weeks. It's called the Tesla, the poor man Tesla's play. Um, it's Tesla. I, I promise you, man. This run that has been on has been a career maker, a game changer. It's life changing. There's still time. There's going to be a pullback though. Um, We're looking at the 15-minute chart on ARK Invest on the right and Tesla. If you look at the angles, you see the same pattern. You see the same upward trend, the same acute pullbacks, but not as deep. And then you see the same little trend line here. It closes it closed at like 656. But all of the institutional buyers, they got that final print at 695. So anyway, I hopped into ARK to show everyone that hey, you can do the follow-up trade with ARK Invest, and you don't have to spend, if you can't afford the Tesla calls, do the same calls, and it's going to move in the same fashion on the upside with a little bit of downside relief because it has other strong stocks in there like Roku and a couple of other tech stocks. So that's the poor man's play. Or we okay, I'm taking the censorship off. That's the half broke ass Tesla play. That's how we used to say it down in Dallas, man. It's like looking like a broke ass Michael and JJ. You know when Martin would say that about when Tommy and Cole spent that night sleeping on the couch. Look at him, Gina, looking like a broke ass Michael and JJ. Anyway, um, if there's something called you get sentiment plays, Visa, Visa, and Mastercard run together. Mastercard usually leads Visa, and every so often something will decouple, and this thing looks like it's decoupled, and Mastercard appears to be possibly on an upswing. Well, breaking out above Visa. So let's just see. And the thing is, you keep an eye. I'm putting Macy's in there. Excuse me. No wonder it looked bad. It's like, damn, JD, your joke kind of hit a little bit, and then your example didn't hit. Right here, we have a trading range. We have an inverse head and shoulders, guys, on both. So let's take a look. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with the head and shoulders play. Inverse head and shoulders. Let me draw it on the screen for you. That's something that we're going to talk about in our stock group or our stock charting workshop coming on the 26th. I used to could never find head and shoulders patterns. Let's see where that's going to be. That's going to be right there. That's the left shoulder, head, and the right shoulder is going to be over here. I could touch it there, I could touch it here. So it's subjective, but the point is you're going to have a this is inverted now. When I say the head will be up here, left shoulder, right shoulder, and I can't break it all down to you tonight because it's a little intricate. But the lower part or the higher part of this interior shoulder, I'd start my neckline, and The same would go for this part of the shoulder. And it really is just running straight across. Or I could call this the neckline and put it right here. When price breaks above here, now we're on a bullish move. You could enter MasterCard now on a bullish play, but you would have to set your stops, you know, within the range of like what in case of a hard pullback. And when it gets up here and breaks this trend line, it's going to be more of a probability of it going up, but the run might not be as far. So that's the idea of like you have the probability increases as the more the trend establishes, but the length of the trend may be shorter. But I know when it breaks that trend line, my comfort level is a little bit more. The same with Visa. So let's see. But hey, now look, these aren't the buy seller hold guys. Yeah, that Macy's looked whack. Um, that you can look up ATR on here, guys. Look, let's just go here because I want y'all to have your spots, and I have to not have to count on uh, Webull or Robinhood or somebody else. We can go directly to the spot and have our own decisions made, and you don't have to ask people. It's just like I know what's happening. So let me put in Tesla. Let me put it on the screen. I know I'm not on there yet. Well, yeah, I am. I did it. All right, FinViz, one of my favorite spots. A lot of free content. Free 95. Had a wedge breakout right here, guys. Beautiful. Uh, it's hard for me to look at a chart and not discuss what I see. Ascending triangle, perfect breakout, man, on Tesla. People can say it's over. I don't know. You can't. If you, how do you know? Who knows? All right. On this screen right here, go to the far right column, 3/4 of the way down. ATR, average true range, $35.79 for Tesla. Let's compare that to what we have it in my what am I in? TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim. Thank you. Let's go ATR. Tesla 35.44. So you might have just a little discrepancy here or there, but if you don't have it within your trading platform, you go to FinViz. Don't even wait for them. Don't worry about we. I mean, it's nice if they have it, but there are plenty of other ways to find that ATR, average true range. All right, and it's up to you guys to research what it does, what the significance is, how to, if you want to develop it on your own or run the how they determine ATR. So that's up to you. You have time to look that up. All right, here's my list, guys, that I'm looking at for Monday. Of course, Tesla. It's on there. Had the breakout. I'm seeing that area, but okay, now this isn't a guarantee. This is just I've done some measurements, and I don't feel like going through all of the hey, I did it this, you move that. That's what I have. You can check me on it or not, but the pullback could come back into the low sixes. And once it hits up here, and once we make a nice final push, maybe after the new year, there's going to be a pullback down to like 412, 412.45 to fill this gap. There's a gap that was left wide open that will fill. Tesla always does it. It'll make a run up and it'll correct. That's where I'm looking like I've made a lot of money on Tesla with this run. A lot of money to me. Might not be a lot of money to the man with the plan, but a lot of money in this household. But I'm looking for a reentry for shares for long-term viability. So I'm not buying it up here like the stock. I'll trade it within channels. I'm currently in some call options, but when we're extended, you don't want to get your shares at the top of a peak run. This, you might have to wait a while before it does pull back, but that's just my suggestion on that. Um, the next play, guys, what I've been saying from ARK is going to go with the SPY. The SPY is the new poor man's Tesla play. Like I said before, for every $11 move in Tesla, the SPY will move $1. So we had a reversal right now on the SPY, and we go a little closer, guys. Write this down. You have your Evening Star Doji, DOJI, Evening Star Doji. That's a perfect reversal layout. And this particular little character right here is if it's just standing alone, it's a doji candle. But when it's at the top of a pattern, and then the next day is a down move, that's an Evening Star Doji. That's a reversal pattern. Perfect, hard to miss. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to continue down, but we did have that reversal right there. We're in a level of possible support. We need to see what's going to go down tomorrow. Um, if the SPY breaks above 371.15, let's put that in there. I'm going to put it at 17, but I'm going to write this down, guys, so I can bear with me. The play is in play if that happens. All right. For 12/21, my son's birthday. SPY 371.15 greater than, and let's go to the options chain. I'm gonna give you all an option. Not a buy, sell, or hold. You're a grown man. You ever heard folks say, "Yo, you a grown ass man. I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't tell you to go with old girl. You a grown man. She played you like." Oh, anyway, that's how they did it on the bus at Grambling. We'd get on the road, get ready to go down to Southern and play, and dudes talking noise, and one guy will wait, just let a dude just pop off a little too much, and they're like, "Uh-oh," and dude will say something about dude's girl, and like, "Yeah, okay," and you see a dude put the headphones back on the bus like this and just and play sleep. And no, we had like a 4.5 hour ride. He said, "You are not sleep, man." He just okay. Anyway, that's just life. All right, 371.15 on the SPY. We don't need to go out to the monthly, but a really good one for the SPY is the January 15th 370 call. That's actually my favorite. January 15th 370 call. I missed my entry on it last week. If Tesla pops tomorrow, guys, the thing is, it might pop for a day or two, and people might pull the rug out. So if you do a SPY, we could also do the December 24th. Let's see what uh, let's just take another peek. Hold on. You don't want to. We want a little time to where we have. You don't want theta to kick in. You can look that up, guys. Let me look that up for you on Google. Theta, THETA, and the 370 is also a good one on the December 28th. Okay, December 28th, 370. But look, you need it. What's the trigger point, guys? Somebody put it in the chat so I can know what we have. Trigger point for the SPY. What's the entry? It has to break above a certain level. There we go. Well, 371, perfect. 371.15, 371.17, right in that range. But let it after 10 a.m. Central, 10:30, we'll know a trend. And then really the safest play is going to be an afternoon entry. Okay, I'm on Central Time. Market closes at 3 p.m. Central. 3 p.m. Central. The 2 p.m. Central entry is a safer play, or 2:15 when you start getting closer to it's called power hour, because everybody's made a trend. They made an early morning run, they sold off. They trickled, kind of trended in for lunchtime, and then some decisions have been made. So I like to watch the morning and see if any news hits. We got to pay attention to Tesla, see if something closed. So if market closes at 4 where you are, that means you're East Coast. I'm 3 where I am, Central. So we're all good. So make the adjustment on that. So you make it in at 3 p.m. out there where you are, and kind of look power hour, and that's when the volume picks up. And the last week, Tesla's volume picked up. It was a bad sell off like in the last 15 minutes, but when in the last 5 minutes, that's when everybody tried to hop in to get that closing print. But here's the thing. Um, they're saying that a lot of institutional investors and the ETFs and the tracking funds, not everybody made it into Tesla at the close. So some something I'm expecting something crazy to happen at the open tomorrow. So we'll see at probably 3 a.m. Central tonight, what the futures are doing. So remember, every $11.11 move in Tesla is gonna push the SPY. It's gonna push the SPX, and the SPY is the ETF of the S&P. So if you want to do a cheaper, more cost-effective way to participate, you go to the SPY and watch it. It won't run as much. It won't be as volatile. If you want to go directly to the horse's mouth, you go to this one right here. It's the SPX. It's going to cost a little bit more. I mean, look at the prices on that compared to like $300 that we were looking at, $3.38. Nah, let's forget that, man. I'm not trying to. If you can pay this, you go ahead and trade Tesla. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not paying 3,000 in only 8 days to expiration. Nah, that they can have that. Let's see. My son hopped in VU. Um, that's more of a. It's another ETF that tracks the S&P, but he's been buying. Man, dog, he bought shares of that. It's something he needs to tell me. $340 a share. Okay, Jay. If you watching, man, how many shares you buy, dog? And you gonna get my car fixed? Okay. All right, we're back, man. He's a good young man, good brother, good young brother. But anyway, I didn't know VU was costing like that. So here, guys, that's SPY. That's the SPY. AMD is also on my list, man. The chips, AMD and Nvidia. Let's look at the daily. Well, let's look at the weekly. AMD does it moves at its own pace, and it comes back. It runs up, it pulls back, and it trends. So it's like perfect angle on the trend. Let me see right here. Give you all this one. In trading range, breakout. This is a weekly chart. Trading range, breakout, pullback. So AMD, a lot of times when you break out from an area of like consolidation, you come back in and retest. Break out a little bit, you retest. So this thing is coiling up right now for a breakout. And let's look for a break above. Let's see what's the high right there. 97.98. That's the high. 97.92. Bam. We're going to go in, let that thing get above, let $98 flat. Let it break above 98 bucks. Let me put the see, if I move it, I can't make my adjustment right now. But here, create an alert. $98 at or above for AMD. 1 second. And here's what I'm teaching, man. This is it. Look, this coiling is coiling. It's like you get in and gets up to a range. You don't buy at the top of a trading range. You don't sell at the bottom. You can't buy at the top, but you can buy at the bottom. When they say buy low and sell high, how many times have you ever said thought like, well, damn, what is low? What is low to you? You know, and they won't, they'll say it on TV. They're not going to give us the breakdown. And it's people supposedly making money. Well, when they talk about buy low, sell high, it's within a trading range that's been mapped out. That's the high part of that range, but it takes a minute for a range to be established, and it takes a second for us to pick up on it because you see it. People will buy at the top of a range, and the very next day that thing sells off, and you're like, man, the market sucks, manipulating it. The Rothschilds knew I was doing it. I have a Nokia phone. The man is in my pocket. You're like, no, dude, you bought at the top of a range. It had nothing to do with all that conspiracy stuff that you're doing, and plus you broadcasting all your info on social media, so that they do know you selling weed out your back door. You know, so the point I'm making: bottom of a range, we go long. Top of a range, you take your profit or you go short. Now it's the overall trend of AMD, guys. This is the key. Is bullish. So we're not looking to short AMD. Look at the RSI down at the bottom. It's not overbought on the weekly. So all the markers are lining up for this thing to really push. Mo called it out a couple of weeks ago. He was like AMD to 100, bro. You know, I was like, yeah, man. And my this is what has funded my daughter's account. And she need to come give me a sugar right now for that, man. For the little got in at $3.46. I say that almost every call, but this is setting up right now. Above 98, we enter. Okay, let it trend during the day, but because the thing about AMD, it can go up and it'll come back and retest. So if it falls below, okay, you have to decide what your level of pain is. The low right here is 93.56. I'm trying to give y'all a good little exit because the entry's at 98. Let's say you get in at 98 and this thing pulls back to 96. You could still stay in, but you have to be you have to have the gumption to say I'm sticking it out because I bought enough time. Or if you're buying the shares of stock, guys, you have to establish like, look, I'm in this for the next 2 years. Okay, it's not I need this by Christmas because it could pull back and you be like, oh man, that guy, F Santa Claus and this and that, I can't do this. And my mom, we have to set it up, establish it, and so we're gonna look at an option on AMD. We're gonna get a little time because I just like with AMD. Let's go with the monthly. We need 26 days. All right, there it is. There's 3 to 4 good ones. We can go with the 95 call. It's $5, 550 by 580. We can even go out here to the $100 call. That's a good one, guys. That's a good price. $3.50 by 360. Um, that's the most economical play. Now I'm gonna give you all the next one that I would rather have. Don't go below that, man. Don't start looking down here and say this is only $50. This is 50 cents. Don't do it because right when you get in there Monday, you're gonna say, I got like $38. I have $48 because I've done it. And you're in Robinhood. I got $38 in Robinhood. Let me put it on this one, and it's gonna hit. And then you're gonna get to the habit of going, I got $38 in Robinhood. Let me, and it's not gonna, you're gonna get into a routine of going for the cheap option rather than having parameters set. So let's stay right up here. And this is called that the light blue is in the money. We got 1 strike outside the money, 2 strikes outside the money. Let's stay within that range right there. So the January $1,500 call, that's number 1. Let's keep moving up the chain. I don't want to go to 97.50 route, the $0.50, but you could. The top dog in here is that January 15 $90 call. It's a 70 delta. It's a little pricey in comparison to that hundo, but let's say you get into this, the $90 call. get in and you say, okay, you don't have to risk all 800 bucks if you put 800 bucks in there. So if you take the money from Big Mama, you're gonna have to protect it. But you can, you take 880 from her, you can bring back 800 to her if you protect it. So you get in, you pay 880, you put a stop and say, I will exit out of this. Well, basically, it'll be a sell order. I'll exit out and I'll give you the entire thing if the if the option price dips down to $8. So you risk $8, or not $8, you risk 80 cents, which is $80 total. Okay. Now, when it triggers, like let's say the stock pulls back, AMD pulls back, and you don't want to risk that much more, you try to get out. It doesn't get you out at $8. It gets you out at 780. You end up losing 100. But that's called slippage. The order is going to trigger when the option price drips down to $8. Some days you can get out really quickly. AMD's option chain is fairly tight, but it's not like the SPY. If you put an order in, a lot of times the SPY will trigger and the spreads are really tight, so you can get out. But there's going to be a little slippage in AMD. You can protect your position. So those are my two picks, and anything between that $100 and that 90 all falls into a buy category. Now, the $98 handle is what we're looking for. That really, guys, that AMD chart, because tomorrow it could be down. You can say JD said it was going. No, I'm saying if it gets above 98, ring the alarm. Let's go. And the entry for me, guys, if you want to look, you maybe go to a 30-minute chart and let it break above that low 98 handle tomorrow. When it gets up there, you can like, okay, hey, JD said that. But when you do it, you buy the option, then you set your stop and you say, I'm willing to risk X amount of dollars, and you leave it at that. But then the next step is like, hey, I want to make 10%, 20%, or like Bernie Mac. That's why I get 30%. Players Club. The scene when he was breaking Ebony in, Diamond brought in her little niece, cousin Ebony, and they were gonna strip for dollar bill. The 30%, that's what runs my entire operation. But 30% return, guys, on that 800 is that is nothing wrong with that, man. $240, that's a beautiful return. And then you risk $80, give or take, that's 10%. So you're trying to go 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2. Like if I want to risk 100, I want to make 200. I want to risk 100, I want to make 150. Because you don't want to risk more than your potential return. There's going to be some time that your return is not going to be as much as what you're risking, but you don't want to get into a habit of that. Okay. Let's see. Is a break on the close on the candle, or just if it triggers? When you say break on the close, well, on the daily candle, sometimes people will wait till you get a close above that, but on a daily chart. But if you're trying to get in, you can wait till it closes on a 15-minute candle above $98. A 5-minute candle, you know. But the higher the time frame, the more solid that move is, because it can flash up on a 1-minute time frame and go back down. It can flash on a 5-minute, but you get it above there on that 30-minute and it closes. It's a little bit more of a move that's solidified. Okay, just remember that. Great question though, Daniel. And TSMA, PJ. Okay, TSM. There's some stuff going. I like TSM, man. I like TSM. I like Baba. I like all the Chinese ADRs over there. But I just saw something. They just put out another list of the blacklist in China. A lot of the chip makers, and it might not affect these, but I really feel that it's gonna negatively affect these companies in the short term. I'm long term bullish, so I'm kind of staying away, and I'm gonna let them. If there's a flush out, or if I miss it, I miss it. But if it's a flush out, and the new administration comes in, is it going to be opportunity maybe to buy on the cheap for long term because I mean you can't. I just can't. I can't. I can't just say just because someone is from China that they're doing the uh, nefarious activities just because it's a Chinese company. But I can say the fact that it's a Chinese company that America is putting a target on its back, and it could affect all Chinese ADRs over the short term. So be careful with that. Um, he said, "Do you have a set percentage for your risk with setting stops?" It varies. For me, Greg, like I look for structural support. Like on this screen right here, if I were to get in and it's running up, a lot of times you're gonna get pullbacks. But if it falls below like this previous level right here, a lot of times that's gonna my bull case is done. You know, if down here there's another level of structure, everything congregated here. So if we were to go in, if I'm trying to get in right here, like okay, I hopped in. I would set my stop right below these little levels. Actually, I'd set my stop below this because there was a gap here. And I set a stop. That would be my the line of last resort. But if it fell below like this little area from the pre-market, just let me know that bullish case is done and it's time to hop out. And if I didn't hop out by then, my stop would be triggered. So it's just I'm looking at previous support and resistance, and then sometimes if it's a high flyer, I will put a certain amount of money. Like, hey, I'm not willing to risk any much more than this at all. It just depends on it's case by case, but it's also support and resistance levels. But guys, let's see. I'm gonna go a couple more real quick, but keep an eye on these. These aren't recommendations, excuse me. But for you have the Santa Claus rally coming up, uh, shopping spree. So your online shopping, PayPal ran, so PYPL it ran last week. Square, the payment, the fintech area is going to be hot for me. Amazon, of course, is a high flyer, high price. The chart looks outstanding. Let's put that on the screen. Um, don't don't. I used to shy away from Amazon. I never. AMD is my number one right now, but Amazon is setting up um, for a move, and I don't know how to do a cheaper play than Amazon, but there's a wedge pattern on Amazon, guys, and with the wedge break, kind of look, it's tight on my screen right now. You have that's a wide, like a wide range or whatever. It's broad channel, and it becomes narrower. When it narrows, price consolidation, it condenses. This is on the daily. It would take weeks for it to get all the way here, but a lot of times it's either going to break out of this wedge or going to break down. And for Amazon, if it breaks above this level, 3263.51. And I'm just going to put right 3263.51. That's the entry. And remember, guys, Amazon's ATR, man, it might be 50. Let's see the ATR real quick. Uh, Average true range, we need to know that. Amazon's $71, guys. You go to the bathroom, pee, wash off with some antibacterial because you've been outside, and you come back at the thing and you down $600 and stopped out. If you don't have a wide stop and be prepared for the ebbs and flows, you're gonna be hit. So make a decision on that. But I see the pullback right now. It needs to, if it gets above that level, we're getting above a trend line, plus we're getting above a previous high where the sell-off was. We have a chance to push. Okay, so um, let me just check the things, guys, real quick. Any thoughts, and Matt? Yeah, I know they were been looking good for a minute, man. Let's go. Good call, Kylan. XLY, because the consumer discretionary has been moving. Um, Great call, man. Guys, look, if you don't, and it's winding up too. It's coiling. It's doing the same pullback as Amazon. Great call, man. Thank you, sir. We had a breakout, pull back to support. If XLY breaks above, because it's running and it's not overbought. This is really, really, really good one. 161.13. Let's find an option for this. Break above 161.13, and I'm creating an alert there. And I don't think XLY moves a lot. So let me I want to verify where the distance, how much it moves within a day. Well, what am I doing? Brother was going the wrong way on that. Elemental P. I don't have it on my thing. Okay, here we go. XLY, let's see how much we move a day. And I like to know that I haven't traded XLY, guys. Moves $1.94 a day, so it's not going to stagnate and it's not going to blow you out of the water. So let's look at the option possibilities, and we'll look at apply material next. Brother said material with no S, huh? Excuse me. XLY. $161. We're looking for 161.13. Hey, that's a wide spread, man. But ooh, ooh. Mm. If those spreads, ooh, be careful with that spread. Oh, let's see, man. I don't like the spreads on that one at all. I don't like Colin, man. I don't like the spreads on these. Unless you can tighten them down, but if they're wide now, you might get trapped in trying to get out, guys. So be careful. I'm gonna put a pause on the XLY, guys, just for safety, ideas. Let's give it a second. The chart looks great. It was a reason I didn't trade that thing last week, man. It pulled back. I'm looking at applied materials. It's gonna find. Let me go to the 4-hour real quick, guys. I check the weekly, check the daily. Then I try to check like the 4-hour. Trying to find like other previous levels of support and resistance. We get above that, we can run 88.13. Get above this previous high right here. I mean, before the sell-off, 87.94. $88 is it needs to get above that, because we had that sell-off, and trying to change the angle to make it look cute. So I had the double top right here, guys. And it sold off of that double top. It broke the neckline of the double top. Let me show you all this. That's boom. It's one tap, pull back. When you get to a point, you get a high, and then you have it's called price separation. Pulls away from that previous level, comes down, finds support, goes back up, and tests it again. That's your official double top. You got the sell off. You don't have to always sell off at a double top, but a lot of times you'll see profit taking, or you'll see a little bit of a pause. Turn into a bear flag, caught some support. If this thing, now this is a bull in a bear case. This is possibly becoming into a bear case. 82.95. If it falls below 85.34, like I was saying, 85.47 was, hey, it could possibly be bull. Don't unless you're in it long term. Don't go long right now on this until we break above like this. Just wait on that 89. Because this is a one move down. Have our second leg down. It might find support, but it has to prove to me it's not coming down here. It's not hunting to close this gap, right? Because there's a gap at 82.59 that it may look to try to really close. I'm thinking it left something at that house over there. And so be careful. If it falls, but you can get a put on it, man, if it goes below 85.34. So falls below, and if it really falls below 85, the bear case is pushing. It can go to 83, it can keep going down. So I'm not looking to short it because it, the overall trend is bullish. This is just probably a bear leg or a soft light pullback within a bullish run because it's had a serious play. It's had a serious run over the last several weeks. All right, let's see one more. XLY. But yeah, man, Colin, the thing about that, what was? Oh, thank you for putting that in there, Keyshawn. Yeah, hey, y'all got to write them down because it goes in my mind right out my. No, I write them down too. But just you got to take the notes and I'll post a replay. SKLZ. Yeah, I don't know what skills is. I can't. It's not going to be a trade for me. That's all. This when I see something like this doesn't have a history, it's gonna all be a guess. I'm gonna have to know the history, the background of the company, and maybe if I like it as a, it seems like it's a new company. If it's something that you feel strongly about it, you have to put your capital to work. But it's definitely not something that I'm looking to trade. And I honestly see, I think the run up has happened and the pullback is about to occur. Uh, might I found some support. I don't know. I don't know, Fonseca. So be careful. All right, FEYE. Let's go. I'm about to wrap it up, guys. I'm gonna give y'all Etsy was still in play. Space was a short for me, guys. Um, which direction you going with FEYE? Because if you're already in, it's a win. But I want you to put it in the chat. Let me know. So I have to be careful. Not in yet. It's kind of late run. It's late on this move. We need to let it pull back. And tell me you don't got to see this. When you see that, I get excited, but I'm more excited if I was in down here and I can get out because we're gonna get a 50% pullback. You got to come back down. We have to pay the piper because we can't remain parabolic. I mean, it could keep going for a little bit more, but you see something like this. Look at the RSI. It rolled over. Boom. It, it, it's now. It doesn't mean it's coming all the way back down here, but it doesn't mean it won't. Be careful. Let this thing. You got to let this come back. It's overextended of all the the entry should have been. That was Friday. Entry was Friday, and it's funny. Funny thing about it, something like this could do this. It could run for 2 more days, but there's really no safe, comfortable entry after you run this much. There's no. The probability is against us. So let it pull back. Let it settle. Well, I mean, shoot, if that's the case, if it popped because the government getting hacked, somebody needs to hop. We got to hop in during that time. That's a great catalyst. That's what we want is a catalyst that we can identify. Government got hacked. Boom, cybersecurity. So we're looking at all the cloud security companies that I, I was so laser focused on Tesla, and I didn't know how it was going to play because really it popped because of cybersecurity, but it could also have gone negative because if they put something negative out about like, hey, these cybersecurity companies are BS, they're the ones letting the Trojan horse, yada yada yada. Uh, oh wow, Keyshawn at 250. Did I say what did I say about it? Did I like it? I think I liked that. I remember you brought that TD $950. What did I say about trade desk back then? I say, hey, it's gonna pull back. It sucks or something. But it looks like I like the breakout setup. Yeah, that's a nice. Oh my goodness. You're still in that? That's so clean. That's and the chart's not crazy. It's not like I mean, if it pulls back so people can get more shares of this. Oh my goodness. It's gonna if it comes back when it does, it's gonna come back in that little range there, hang out, and there's a gap down here that it could fill, and people will buy more of it. But it may not fill that gap for a year. Maybe or the next earnings it might do that and pop back up. Anytime I can, guys, anytime we go to a chart and we start, if you study charts, you'll see stuff and you start drawing it out, start mapping it out. It doesn't mean it's going to come to fruition, but you're going to see certain levels that you need to pay attention to. Uh, you see like baby cup and handle, um, just a bullish run. You see setups on charts that the charts speak to you. They tell a story that we have to pay attention to. Uh, Beautiful. I'm sorry for yelling. Yeah, man. Uh, yeah. Kramer had TTD, GTD, Tommy, on one of his lists. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And put the my on there. Here, guys, keep an eye on this over this new administration. EEM. It is the Emerging Markets ETF. I've been watching it for a couple of months. I just bought shares and sold them. But it's setting up. It's kind of in a little trading range right now. If it breaks above like 51.50, it's something that I mean worth maybe grabbing a few shares of or researching. Don't say, hey JD, you told me to grab these shares, and then we went to war with Bosnia. And okay, just take your time, research it, do your own due diligence. But I like this chart as a slow mover. Uh, it's also something to add versatility and little diversity in our portfolio because emerging markets have been beaten down. We haven't had a really good relationship with any entities outside the U.S. for the last 4 years. So I just think it. I think there's precedent, where we can step into the emerging markets and possibly see something good. But Carvana, guys, it's on my list. Bull flag, trading range, acting funny, stepping up, pulling back. This thing breaks above right here. Look, if Carvana goes above 273, it's a go. It's a go. Create an alert, and let's look for an option real quick. And the reason I'm saying that I've been tracking Carvana. I have a basket of stocks, and this is gonna be the last thing I discuss. And I'll give you my email real quick, guys. If I missed you, I put the little car industry. Carvana pulled back $5.75 last week. All right, on Friday. But the push up it's been a bullish run. Had trading range, and anytime you try to break out from like a trading range, guys, your initial breakout, the first a lot of times it's going to be a retest. Doesn't have to be a full retest of like the breakout area, but generally the first breakouts fail because trading range, we have the wicks, and I'll explain this another time why I'm doing it right in there. But actually, we'll really talk about that in class later this week. But breakout came back and retested that and found support. If it breaks above 273, CVNA is a buy. CVNA above 273. Let's look for a quick option, guys. And CVNA. All right. Go for a monthly. We want to buy time with options because you run out of time. It eats it. It's pricey. Mm. Don't do it because the spreads. That sucks, man. That's why. Let me just see. 14 days out. 11 days might be a possibility. No, no go, guys. Carvana is a no go on any of that. Uh-uh. Chart looks good. It's just good for studying. If you want to buy the stock, do you research, guys. But let me put something in. Put my email in there. Thank y'all for coming in, man. KMX CarMax earnings Tuesday. Okay, let me pull that up before I go. And so it may when something in one sector or pops or an industry pops, you have sector sentiment, and it could pull the other ones with it or pull it up or down. KMX. I see an inverse head and shoulders right out the gate. It already broke, coming back, nested head and shoulders. All right, break above, pull back. Nice. Uh, Now, I'm not trading this because I've never traded CarMax. I'm not too familiar with it, but a break above $100.44 per go, 144. That this is the one that I will watch a little bit. Let's see, high 101. Don't trade earnings unless you just want to gamble with the money and taking a chance. I mean, there's times to take a chance. Uh, mm, Coiling up. There's a light move. You get above $100.50, it could push, and there's a gap that it needs to fill up to 105. CarMax might fill that gap on earnings, guys. Let me see what the options look like, because it's a risky play. CarMax could do it the next day after earnings. What day did you say the earnings are? Let's see, Richard. Thank you for the info, man. Uh, have a great trading week, Greg. I'll catch you, man. Next Tuesday, earnings Tuesday. Okay, this Tuesday. Nobody's in that one. Let's see if anybody's in this one. This one isn't that bad. The $100 call, not that bad. Pricing isn't crazy. That 95 solid. So is the 97.50. So don't go below that 100, man, at all if you try it. All right, guys, email me. Hey, we do have one spot left in the group in the charting course, and it. I say it was a advanced, but it's for beginners from the standpoint of if you were able to follow along with what I talked about tonight, you can do the course. But I've been sending out homework to those who've already signed up, uh, sending out different little tidbits for them preparing for the class. It's going to be the 26th of this month, 27th, It's a 2-day class. Third day is a bonus day, which is Monday. I'll open up the trading room each morning for students, but that final day is for if you're available, you come in and we try to look for a trade, you know, see if we can find something to get you in and try to make your tuition back. That's the entire thing to where you fish on your own and survive and keep adding to your foundation. So email me, guys. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Uh, Stay safe out there. And thank y'all for coming, man. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed it tonight. Y'all take care. Email me. I think y'all have it, man, so I can keep track of everyone and I can send a message out to the anytime I have these meetings or whatever. So it's every Sunday. All right. I'm gonna stop recording.